I was getting ready to dive into my third Delmonico of the week when the pain struck. It was just pressure at first, and then God made a fist with me in it. Of course, the doctors did all they could, but medical science was no match for my neglected vascular system. Game over. Or was it? Hello?
Guess you really did it this time, boy. No, over here, dummy.
You talking to me?
See anybody else here, smart guy?
I guess not. How'd I get here?
Your diet. You know how much cow meat you've been putting away each week?
Well, no.
4 pounds.
Gee, is that a lot?
Hey, don't crack wise with me. You'll find yourself working the grill station permanently.
All right. Sorry, Charlie.
Forget about it. Okay, what do you know about tuna?
About tuna? Well, you're a very good-looking fish, and you're very versatile, flavorful, and you're packed with nutrition like omega-3 fatty acids. And because of your unique physiognomy, you can be cooked to temperature, like red meat. In fact, I'd even say you could be called the other red meat. By one time, I took
All right. I'll let you go this time.
Thank you.
But you better start walking that talk, or you'll be back here quicker than you can say...
The worst thing about taking an ambulance to the hospital is they don't take you home.
Before you can understand the real difference between tuna and other fish on the plate, it helps to appreciate the difference between tuna and other fish in the water. See, like sharks, tuna never stop swimming, ever. But unlike sharks, who can only attain real speed in short bursts, tuna are built for speed and distance. Take, for instance, the rare Atlantic bluefin. Okay, this thing can grow to 1,500 pounds, 9 feet in length, and still maintain cruising speeds of up to 50 miles an hour. Imagine what that would look like passing you in the water. How do they do it? Well, tuna are a lot like sports cars. Their bodies are bullet-shaped and low drag. They've got specialized drivetrains and high-performance parts all around. See these fins? At low speeds, they stay up for agility in the turns. But then, when this guy lays on the speed in these straightaways, they lay down into recessed grooves along the body. Nice, huh? No wonder the U.S. Navy studies these guys when they build submarines. Oh, and inside, a specialized metabolism allows him to raise and lower his blood temperature as he dives. We really ought to go take a look under the hood, don't you think? This is a yellowfin tuna, probably the most popular eating tuna in the United States. It's also called ahi in Hawaii. This is a Mr. Cow who's been cutting up fish like this for how long?
15 years.
15 years cutting up these fish. His hands are fast. His knives are sharp. So I am going to get out of the way. Maestro, please.
Thank you.
From the very first cut, you can see something's different here. Instead of removing the whole side of the fish the way he might a salmon, Mr. Cow makes lateral cuts, thus removing 4 separate loins that are shaped a lot more like beef tenderloin than fish fillets.
Bravo. Bravo, Mr. Cow. Beautiful work. That would have taken me at least an hour to do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Truth is, I never could have done that. He makes it look easy. It's not. Now, these 4 huge muscles or loins deliver the propulsion for which the tuna is famed. They also deliver the flavor. You no doubt notice that this meat is red. You see, since they never stop moving, the tuna's muscles require a lot of oxygen. But to burn oxygen, you've got to have myoglobin in the muscle. The myoglobin is red. Of course, some tuna are redder than others. That's why color, along with firmness and fat content, are the deciding factors in whether a tuna receives a quality grade of 1, 2, or 3. 1, or sushi grade, being the most expensive. I'd say this is a 2.5. Nice fish. Now, unfortunately for the retail customer, color is a tricky thing. You see, myoglobin turns brown when it's frozen, so you used to could tell previously frozen tuna just by the color of it. However, processors have figured out that they can set this color by exposing the meat to carbon monoxide before freezing it, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, the meat comes out looking great, but it means that unscrupulous fishmongers might be tempted to sell that meat as fresh, and you'd never know the difference because it looks the same. Just another in a long line of reasons to know your fishmonger. Speaking of color, you ever notice the rainbow effect that sometimes appears on the surface of freshly cut tuna? It's not from age, and it's not fat. It's birefringence. Anisotropism of the refractive index, which varies as a function of polarization and
Here's the deal. This surface is pretty smooth, but if you look closely, you'll see it's actually a vast landscape of parallel fibers. When cut, the reduced surface pressure coaxes microscopic beads of moisture to the surface, each one of which acts as an independent prism. When viewed in concert, they look like a rainbow.
Like any red meat, tuna looks better the longer it's left intact. So, if I'm planning on cooking several steaks, I'm going to buy one block of loin and then cut it my own steaks at the very last minute. Now, if you're lucky enough to get a thick center cut loin like that, plan on 1 inch per diner. For a narrower loin like this, you go 1.5 inches per. Definitely a 4-inch block of that there. Now, if you don't see any loins in the case, ask your fishmonger to get one from the back. Odds are, if he's got steaks down here, he's got loins back there. And he's not going to mind cutting that for a customer in the know. And of course, like all fish, you want to look for moist meat and a fresh aroma. Thank you, my friend. To the kitchen. In a perfect world, tuna is consumed the day it is purchased. But hey, this isn't a perfect world, is it? And that's why we have this. Now, some of you may remember this rig from our hook, line, and dinner episode. And if you do, well, review never hurt anybody. The goal, to keep the fish in contact with crushed ice. Thank you, Bing, for that crushed ice demonstration. I appreciate that. But we want to keep it away from the water as the ice melts. The answer, 2 plastic tubs. One prodigiously perforated, okay, so that as the ice melts, the water drains away to this space down here. Now, the fish is wrapped tightly in plastic wrap. It just goes right down in the ice, okay? Now, in the back of your refrigerator, you should be able to stretch your tuna to maybe 3 or 4 days without any discernible loss of quality. Just make sure you drain the bottom tub every time you replace the ice up top. And that's going to be at least once, if not twice, a day. Now, unlike most fish, whose muscle fibers are chewy and downright nasty when undercooked, tuna's a lot like beef tenderloin. Its flavor, and especially its texture, reaches its peak when it's seared on the outside but left rare on the inside. In fact, beyond medium rare, even the best tuna tastes kind of like cat food. Now, what does this mean to the home cook? It means high heat. And unless you've got a fusion reactor in the basement, odds are good there's nothing around the house that'll generate more heat than the carbonous remains of chunk hardwood. All true grill heads love natural chunk charcoal. It's called natural because it is. It's just chunks of wood that have been partially burned. No additives, no fillers, no binders. And that's why this stuff burns very, very hot. It also tends to burn kind of fast, which means we're going to need a lot of it. So, even though we're not cooking a whole lot of tuna, I'm going to fill this all the way to the brim. Now, all true grill lovers are also fond of chimney starters. I don't know a better way of lighting a fire. All you have to do is fill it up with charcoal and, of course, wad up some paper and put underneath and light it. Of course, this can be a problem because if you don't put enough paper down there, you go away, you come back, the paper's burned, the charcoal isn't. You're disappointed. Then you might overcompensate, wad up a big old thing of paper and shove it under there and light it, come back 10 minutes later and not even the paper's burned. Didn't have enough oxygen, so it choked itself off. What's the answer? I'll show you. Before you wad your paper up, just give it a few spritzes with canola oil. Doesn't take a lot. Any vegetable oil will do. There. Let that kind of soak in a minute, and then wad it up. And basically what we've made here is a wick, just like an oil lantern. And that oil is going to have to burn off before the paper will actually burn. Probably last for 10 minutes. And believe it or not, within 10 minutes, we'll have glowing coals aplenty.
Now, when it comes to fabricating our hunk of loin for the fire, we could cut this into thick... Oh, go wash those charcoaly hands. As I was saying, we could cut it into thick steaks, but then we'd end up with a very high proportion of seared exterior to buttery interior, which just doesn't sound right. So we're going to go with blocks. Take your longest knife and just trim up the loin into kind of a rough rectangular shape. But, oh, don't waste that. That's tuna salad, and that's another show. Now we've pretty much got a rectangle here. So just roll it over and slice it right down the middle long ways. It's important to use as few knife strokes as possible so you interrupt the fibers as little as possible. Ooh, there's still some bloodline there. That's kind of like the dark meat of tuna lays up against the skeleton. It's fishy. It's got to go. Now, we can split these two into two 4x4x2 blocks, which is perfect for the fire. Time to consider flavor augmentation.
Despite close family ties to the mackerel, tuna's flavor is actually complex and subtle. In fact, really great tuna is kind of like listening to Debussy with the volume turned way down. What's a cook to do? Well, we need to apply flavors that turn the tuna back up without drowning it out. Now, I can't think of anything that supports a melody better than a chord, so I like to back up tuna with three flavors: sweet, pungent, and salty. Or, in this case, honey, wasabi powder. This is the dried and ground version of an Asian horseradish. And, of course, soy sauce. Well, it seems like we've struck on today's secret word. And what would be more deserving than soy sauce? After all, making this stuff's a lot like making wine. It requires patience and fermentation. I say real because some soy sauces just aren't. See, if you take hydrolyzed vegetable proteins and boil them with hydrochloric acid for 12 to 20 hours, treat them with some bicarb, toss in some caramel, salt, and corn syrup, and you can concoct in just a few days something that sort of, kind of, almost tastes like soy sauce, but not really. What's so sinister about these synthetics is that the FDA does not control their label content, so they can claim to be naturally or traditionally brewed even if they're not. Luckily, ingredient lists cannot lie, so if you pick up a bottle of soy sauce that contains hydrolyzed vegetable proteins, just put it back. Tonight's performance will feature two of our 2x4x2 blocks of tuna loin. And here are the backup singers. We've got a half cup each of dark soy sauce and honey. Any kind of honey you want to use is fine. And a mere quarter of a cup of our wasabi powder. Could you use more? Sure. But as anyone who's ever been ambushed by a mischievous sushi chef who decided to tuck a wad of wasabi paste into their tuna roll can tell you that in large proportions, this stuff will make you cry harder than the last 5 minutes of the Terminator. What? I cried. This is going to end up being a fat cupful, and we're going to want to reserve just a little bit of this, say an ounce per serving, for a dipping sauce. So before adding the fish, we'll pour off 4 ounces. There. Everything else is dedicated to the fish. Notice we're using a very small container. You want to get a lot of contact between the liquid and the fish, so only use a container big enough to actually hold it, like that. Now, this could be considered simply a glaze. We could just toss that around for a few seconds and take it straight to the fire. It'd be fine. I like to let this have a little bit of a penetration, actually treat it like a marinade. So I'm going to give it an hour in here before going any further. Could you go longer? Well, you might could go overnight, but remember, there's a lot of sodium in here and it could pull out some of the fish's juices. So I'd say 4 hours top. And remember, if it's not completely covered, turn it once. The tuna is now ready to face the fire. But as we make that long, faithful walk towards the grill, we should stop a moment to consider any last-minute additions to flavor and/or texture. For instance, say sesame seeds. Now, most of us only get a good look at these things when we're getting ready to chomp down on a hamburger. And that is unfortunate because the temperatures at which those buns bake are nowhere near hot enough to activate the flavorful oils inside these little jewels. On a grill, that's not a problem. Oh, our fish is on deck, and we've even brought a clean plate for retrieval. As for the fire, well, it's hot. It's real hot. Just take a look. Like a jet engine down there. Now, the normal thing to do would be to distribute those coals across the bottom of the grill and get to cooking. But I don't want to dissipate the heat. I don't want to spread it out. I want to keep it concentrated. I want to cook on the jet engine. And it's my jet engine, so I say we'll cook on the jet engine. This is just the charcoal grate out of the bottom of this grill. Now, of course, we're going to have to lubricate that with some oil. We don't want to do that till it's hot. Okay, it's hot. All we've got to do is take a towel and get a little bit of our canola oil on it, just a little bit, and wipe this guy down. You don't want to do it right over the fire. Flames, oil, not good. So just pick it up, give it a quick wipe, and put it right back down. And something you're going to notice is that there's going to be a lot of popping right away as the sesame seeds start to burn. Now, I'm not sure how long it's going to take on this first side. I'm going to time it just to see, because however long it takes on this side is probably how long it'll take on the other three sides. And I want to be consistent. By doing that, we're going to make sure that the same layer of doneness is achieved all the way around. So when we slice the fish, it's going to look really, really great. So it's been about 15 seconds. You definitely don't want to touch this before, say, 20 seconds. Not even to take a look, or a lot of those seeds are going to stick. We want more of them to stay on the fish. Some are going to stick to the grill. That's okay. Just going to take a look. Nope, going to give it all the way to 30 seconds. When 30 seconds is up, flip it to the new side of the grill and start your clock again. Now, don't worry about the rest of these seeds. There's going to burn, and since they've got oil in them, there's going to be some flaming, but it's going to be on the other side, so don't worry about it. There we go. This time up on the side like that. And another 30 seconds. You may have to hold on to it. No, it'll stay by itself. And whatever flames, just knock down. That's fine. If the meat starts to lean over too much, that's okay. Just correct it and hold it with the edge of your tongs. Down, cursed flame. We're only talking about a total of, 2 minutes cooking time all the way around. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time to remove. Remember, for that, we use the clean plate. Now I'm going to cover this tightly with plastic wraps because it's going to continue to cook for at least another 2 minutes. I'm going to give it 3 just to be on the safe side. Meanwhile, we can cook the other pieces. Three minutes later, and whatever cooking was going to happen is definitely done. This has cruised to a thermal stop. Now, at this point, you could just rewrap this in a new dry piece of plastic wrap and refrigerate it and cut it in 2 or 3 days. Makes a great cold appetizer. Me, I think I'm going to serve it warm. Now, regardless of whether you intend to serve this as an appetizer or an entree, the key is thin slicing. And just as before, you want to use very long strokes. Now look, that's exactly what we wanted on the inside. We've got a nice even sear, but nice red in the middle. Now, do keep this thin because it is very, very rare. I'd say that's about 3/8 of an inch. Now, if you're not planning to eat this all, don't slice it all, okay? Because those sliced sides will oxidize, and we don't want that. So if you're going to leave some over, just leave it as a chunk and wrap it up. Now, I am not much of a fan of fancy plating. That's why I just like to put the fish on the plate. I think it's great looking stuff. But there are other options. For an entree, you might want to serve this with some jasmine rice, a nice little salad. Heck, wasabi mashed potatoes would be fine. But you'll notice here, using the reserved marinade as a dipping sauce. It's multitasking. Nice, huh? Oh, and observe the old restaurant trick. By placing the ramekin on a slice of lemon, we've got stability. Nice, huh? Oh, hey, you remember that heart attack I had about half an hour ago? Acting! Thank you. In fact, I'm getting ready to turn 40, and my ticker feels just fine, thanks. So, do I have deep swimming, cold water fatty fish like tuna to thank for this? Hey, only my nutritionist knows for sure.
Yes, you do, Alton. Omega-3 fatty acids are great for your heart. They act as an arterial lubricant, which decrease your risk for a heart attack and stroke. They increase your HDL level of cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol, and they decrease your triglycerides, which are the bad cholesterol. And they also help with your memory, your learning ability, and your vision.
Wow. Anything else?
Yeah, and some studies suggest that it may help with depression. So in case you may be a little bit depressed about turning 40...
Actually, I wasn't depressed about turning 40, but... Well, there you have it, kids. Tuna a day keeps the extremely expensive cardiologist away. It's just another example of how things that are good for you can also be good eats. See you next time. 40's no big deal, right?
No. Do you want me to not say it that way?